This is Bergstrom's State Line Quiz Bowl. Now from the Collins Aerospace Studio at the Nordloff Center in downtown Rockford, here's your host, Eric Wilson.
Welcome to another edition of Bergstrom's State Line Quiz Bowl, and welcome to February. Our tournament is just flying by. Last week, we ended round one with a pretty memorable game. If you watched it, you certainly remember that one. Belvedere put up our highest point total so far of the season, led by Captain David, who answered 17 questions all by himself correctly. That is also a season high. Both of these two teams have the potential of putting up some serious points as well. Let's have another round of applause for the first appearance of our reigning champs. Charlotte's face says it all. Let's say hello to the Winnebago Indians. Year 9 for Winnebago, and their march to the championship last season is pretty impressive. Squeaked by Forreston in round one. They won by just one question, then righted the ship fast, made it all the way to the finale in the closest championship game ever. They beat Auburn by one question. And anybody who was on that team last season certainly remembers that. Charlotte is their captain. Introduce us to your starting lineup, Charlotte.
To my right is to my far right is Merrick, to my near right is Carson, and to my left is Riley.
Winnebago Indians taking on the Pecatonica Indians. Pecatonica had a very strong first round. They doubled up AFC 300 to 150, led by Tyler and his 11 correct buzz-ins. Nice job, Tyler. Becca is the captain of the Pecatonica Indians. Introduce us to your starting lineup, Becca.
To my far right we have Tyler, to my near right we have Gavin, and to my left we have Allie.
Welcome. 8 miles is all that separates these schools normally. Now it's not even 8 feet. But this first-time matchup is a long time coming. I think our contestants are excited to play. Let's get into it with our Rockford University buzz-in round. You've all played the game before. You know how it works. Grab your buzzers. Remember the two most important rules. Wait for me to call your name before you answer, and say your answer loudly and clearly. Hands on your buzzers, and here we go with our first question this week. What party, which started a free breakfast for children program, was...
The Black Panthers?
Carson.
Oh, the Black Panthers.
That is correct. What film, whose title object is the real-life Antikythera mechanism, is the fifth about a whip-wielding archaeologist, Tyler?
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
You got it. The full title of the film is what we needed. That archaeologist played by Harrison Ford. What word precedes medicine in the title of the Louis Erdrich novel, as well as song in the title of a poem about J. Alfred Prufrock by Carson?
Love.
That's right, by T.S. Eliot. Love Medicine and Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. Question for question so far with our teams. What keyword in BASIC, Java, and Python initiates a loop that is executed repeatedly so long as the specified condition? Merrick.
For.
Incorrect. I'll finish for Pecatonica. Specified condition is met. Of course, we're talking computer programming language. That keyword is while. What transcendental number is half of tau, appears in the formula for the volume of a sphere, and is approximated by the fractions 339, Carson?
Pi.
That's right, 339 over 108 and 22 over 7. Before becoming president, Harry Truman entered politics in what Missouri city with help from Tyler?
Kansas City.
That's right, political machine run by Tom Pendergast. What landmark is at the summit of Ollantaytambo, Taupo, is named for an aviator, is in eastern Venezuela, and is the world's highest uninterrupted waterfall? Tyler.
Angel Falls.
That's right, named for Jimmy Angel, who crash-landed nearby. We're tied now. What essay that distinguishes between types of absurd man ends by asserting one must imagine the title mythological figure happy? Charlotte.
Hercules.
Incorrect. Pecatonica, you could take these points and take the lead. That essay written by Albert Camus is The Myth of Sisyphus. What measure of a material's stiffness is the ratio of tensile stress and strain and is named after a British scientist? Merrick.
Fair ads.
Incorrect. Pecatonica, again, you could take the lead with these points. The measure of stiffness is Young's modulus, named after Thomas Young. What play in which Edgar disguises himself as Tom O'Bedlam centers on a ruler who divides his kingdom between his daughters, Regan and Goneril? Carson.
Oedipus Rex.
Incorrect. Pecatonica. Shakespeare fans would know this one. King Lear. What text, rediscovered on a pillar at Susa in 1901, contains 282 laws following eye for an eye principles and is, Merrick?
Hammurabi's Code.
Yes, we'll take that. Hammurabi's Code, Code of Hammurabi. He's the Babylonian king it was named for. Bago's on top now. What's the name of the British public health care system created in 1940? Tyler?
The NHS.
That's correct. National Health Service is what that stands for, and that is our last question. And here is how we end the round, basically how we started. With both teams at the same score, instead of 0-0, it is 40-40. 3 more rounds of game to play, though, and those scores will change quite a bit. Our next round is volleyball, and we'll have it for you right after this break. This is as tight as the game can be moving into our second round. 40 points for each of our teams, Winnebago and Pecatonica. Before we get into our volleyball round with some more questions, a very special thank you to our judge today, longtime Rockford journalist, community supporter, and more importantly, maybe, my friend, all-around good guy, Ken DeCoster. He's our judge today. Ken, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Let's move on now to more questions. Contestants, our volleyball is just the back and forth, and because of the flip, Pecatonica gets first question this week. Becca, are you and the team ready?
Yes.
Remember, to both of our teams, you can confer, so work as a team, but the answer has to come from the captains. Becca, here is question number 1 in the round. What bodies which grow in the zone of accumulation carve out landforms such as aretes and cirques and can form widespread ice sheets?
Glaciers.
Yes, glaciers is correct. You get the first points of the round. New question now for Winnebago. Here's your first one, Charlotte. In June 2023, what convention of Christian churches voted to expel the Saddleback megachurch after it ordained a female pastor?
Vatican III.
Say that again.
Vatican III.
Vatican III.
Incorrect. The Southern Baptist Convention. What rate, which is used as an adjustment for real economics stats, is measured by the CPI and is the rate at which the price level of goods rises?
Inflation.
That's right. That seems like a group effort. That's another question for you. You're up to 60. Back to Winnebago. The naive Amelia Sedley and the cunning Becky Sharp are contrasting figures in what 1848 novel without a hero written by William Makepeace Thackeray?
Uncle Tom's Cabin.
That's incorrect, but why not guess? You have a chance for some points. It's also the name of one of the most famous magazines in the world. That's Vanity Fair. Back to Pecatonica. What man, James Madison's second vice president, was a Massachusetts governor who names the practice of drawing districts for political advantage?
Elbridge Gerry.
We'll take that. Yeah, it's Elbridge Gerry, but we have transformed that into gerrymandering. That's what it's known as, but Elbridge Gerry. You're correct, Peck, and we're moving on to a new question for Winnebago. What Austrian composer of the Trout Quintet left his 8th symphony unfinished?
No. I think it's Mussorgsky.
Incorrect. Schubert. Franz Schubert. Back to Pecatonica. In 2022, what former finance minister who founded the centrist party En Marche defeated Marine Le Pen to win re-election as president of France?
Macron.
We'll take that. Macron. Emmanuel Macron. Back to Winnebago. What term describes events that cannot both occur at the same time, such as tossing heads and tossing tails?
Mutually exclusive.
Yes, and I got the sense you knew that before I finished the question. You get those points. Let's go back to Peck. What man who wrote on the revolutions of the heavenly spheres was a Polish scientist who published a heliocentric model of the solar system?
Galileo.
Incorrect. You're in the right ballpark. Copernicus. And that is how we end the round with that question. We are out of time. Pecatonica pulls away a little bit, so you have a lead now. Again, we went in tied, so you've got 80 points. Winnebago has 50, not too far behind. But our next round, Nika IBEW's lightning round, has a lot of points available. We'll get a look at that in just a minute. But first, you get to play at home with the Bergstrom bonus question, and we'll be right back with the answer.
Which U.S. state is the birthplace of President John Quincy Adams? Home to Fenway Park, and of course, was the famed landing spot of the Pilgrims in 1620.
We have a pretty tight game here right now, score-wise. Our scores aren't going to change with this question, but the winner, or whoever gets this right, will earn themselves and their team pizza and pasta from Lino's of Rockford. That's what's on the line here for our Bergstrom bonus question. If you're watching at home, you already saw the question. Contestants, hands on your buzzers. Let me know if you know the answer to this. Which U.S. state is the birthplace of President John Quincy Adams? Home to Tyler.
Massachusetts.
That's right. Home to Fenway Park. Famed landing spot of the Pilgrims. And you enjoy your pizza. You didn't even let me get to the Fenway Park Boston Red Sox reference because that's for our judge today, Ken DeCoster, who's the biggest Boston Red Sox fan I know. Congratulations, Tyler. Maybe bring Ken with you for pizza. That'll make him feel better. How's that sound? We'll take another break and come back with our Nika IBEW lightning round. Well, what a great start to our Sweet 16. Our game is pretty tight after 2 rounds so far. Pecatonica has 80. Our reigning champs, Winnebago, have 50. This is our Nika IBEW lightning round where you get to choose from 3 categories. If you go first, if you go second, you only have 2 left to choose from. And Winnebago, you will be going for where the bow ties are multiplying. Look at that. We have 2 more orange bow ties. These are the categories, Charlotte, you have to pick from this week. ARM, musical instruments, or 5.
I like instruments too. I think we go instruments. Musical instruments.
That seemed like a consensus. We'll see if this works out for you. Given these musical instruments, identify whether they are percussion, string, wind, or electronic. So those are the only answers that you will be giving. Percussion, string, wind, or electronic. And just want to make a quick note, wind would include both woodwind and brass. Those are both considered wind instruments. You'll have 60 seconds to go through this category, and then Becca, you and the team will have 30 seconds for whatever points you don't get to. Again, I don't need to explain too many of the rules, but it's worth repeating. Remember, you can pass. Don't let the clock burn up too much time on one question. Charlotte, are you ready for your first one?
Yes.
Here we go, in musical instruments. Given these instruments, identify whether they're percussion, string, wind, or electronic. Timpani.
Percussion.
Correct. Acoustic guitar.
String.
Correct. Didgeridoo.
Wind. Percussion.
Incorrect. Synthesizer.
Electric. Electronic.
Correct. Cor anglais.
Pass.
Glockenspiel.
Percussion.
Correct. Euphonium.
Wind.
Correct. Balalaika.
Pass.
Automaton.
Electronic. Electronic.
Correct. Cor anglais.
I think that's wind.
That is correct. Balalaika.
Pass.
That's all you have left.
Percussion.
Incorrect. I'm sorry, there is one more. Fiddle.
String.
Correct. That's our category. There's nothing left for you to go back to. Sorry, I missed that one. We got all 10 in. That's a pretty solid lightning round. You have 8 of them correct, 80 points added to your score. So there are 2 left for you, Becca, and the team. Take all 30 if you want, or you can move on really quickly, and we will get to your category choice. Are you ready? Remember, the 4 answers are percussion, string, wind, or electronic. Didgeridoo.
Wind.
That's correct. Balalaika.
String.
That is correct. So between our 2 teams, we cleaned up the category. Nice job for both teams. That's worth a round of applause. Winnebago's in the lead now, but Becca, there's 2 categories left for you to pick. They are ARM or 5.
5.
Okay. Answer the following about the number 5. Pretty self-explanatory. Same rules apply for the first run through, and Charlotte, same rules apply to you for that second run through. Answer the following about the number 5. Here we go, Becca. Home country of the mighty 5 composers.
Germany.
Incorrect. Element with atomic number 5 and symbol B.
Boron.
Correct. Objects that number 5 in the 12 days of Christmas.
Golden rings.
Correct. Religion whose 5 pillars include the Hajj or pilgrimage.
Islam.
Correct. Line of poetry with 5 feet.
Haiku.
Incorrect. Figure who suffered the 5 holy wounds.
Jesus.
Correct. A William Carlos Williams poem reads, I saw the figure 5 in this color.
Blue.
Incorrect. Soviet leader who launched the first 5-year plan in 1928.
Stalin.
Correct. Platonic solid with pentagons for faces.
Dodecahedron.
That's correct. Psychiatrist who described 5 stages. There's not enough time for me to end that question. That is a pretty solid round as well. You got 6 of them right. There's 4 left for you on the board. Charlotte, those 4 would actually put you in the lead by 1 question. Are you ready? Answer the following about the number 5. Home country of the mighty 5 composers.
Russia.
That's correct. Line of poetry with 5 feet.
A sonnet.
Incorrect. A William Carlos Williams poem reads, I saw the figure 5 in this color.
Red.
Incorrect. Psychiatrist who described 5 stages of grief.
It's the last one. Pavlov.
Incorrect. You're right. It's the last one. It's worth answering that question, right? And we're done with the category. You picked up 10 of those available points. The 3 no one got. The line of poetry with 5 feet is pentameter. The William Carlos Williams poem reads, I saw the figure 5 in gold. And that last one, the psychiatrist who described the 5 stages of grief, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. So we still have a close game moving into our Mercy Health Final Challenge. It's only 20 points between the contestants, and each question in this next round is worth 20. So you can see how tight the game is when we put it in that perspective. We'll have that final challenge after this break. Well, this is the sort of tight game you would expect in a Sweet 16 matchup. Our Mercy Health Final Challenge, the scores are like this as we head into it. Pecatonica has 160, Winnebago has 140, but again, big reminder to our contestants, each question now is worth 20 points. So it's really only a 1-question swing right now. Other than that, it's the same rules as round 1. Hands on your buzzers. Let's get right into it in this Mercy Health Final Challenge. Good luck to both of our teams. A spot in the Elite 8 is on the line. Here we go. Recurring character Nathan Zuckerman appears in the novels of what Jewish-American author who wrote Portney's Complaint and The Human Stain? Carson.
Sinclair.
Incorrect. Pecatonica. Philip Milton Roth. What planet whose atmosphere has clouds made of sulfuric acid? Tyler.
Venus.
That's right. Home to the Maxwell Montes mountain range, 2nd planet from the sun. Peck's first points of the round. Mapai was a progressive political party in what country whose first prime minister was David Ben-Gurion? Tyler.
Israel.
That is correct. 2 in a row for Peck. What composer whose opera La Cenerentola adapts the story of Cinderella depicted a hero who shoots an apple off his son's head in William Tell?
Prokiev.
Charlotte.
Prokiev.
Incorrect. Pecatonica. Gioacchino Rossini. What song, whose music video is set in a flooding laundromat and depicts Lado at a funeral, is the numerically titled debut single of BTS's Jungkook? Carson.
7.
That's right. Fastest song to 1 billion streams on Spotify. What title character confronts 300 wolves in the Pyrenees with help from his servant Friday and is stranded on an island in a novel by Daniel Defoe? Allie.
Robinson Crusoe.
You got it right before the buzzer. What structure, which may be damaged in Marfan syndrome, is connected to the left ventricle by a semilunar valve? Merrick.
The heart.
Incorrect. Pecatonica, you could take these points and extend your lead. Tyler.
Cul-de-sac.
Incorrect. The largest artery in your body is what we were looking for, the aorta. What kind of structures in early America included the Middlesex one ending in Boston and another dubbed Clinton's Ditch? Merrick.
Mounds.
Incorrect. I'll finish for Pecatonica. Clinton's Ditch in New York, named for Erie. Tyler.
Canal.
That's right. Also the famous one in Panama. What Soviet author drew on his experiences as a political prisoner to conduct an experiment in literary investigation titled The Gulag Archipelago? Carson.
Chekhov.
Incorrect. Pecatonica. Tyler.
Dmitri.
Incorrect. Alexander Solzhenitsyn. What city contains the Vigeland installation in Frogner Park, hosts the award ceremony of the Nobel Peace Prize? And Carson.
Stockholm.
Incorrect, and I will finish for Pecatonica, and is the capital of Norway. Tyler.
Oslo.
Oslo is correct, and that's how we end the game. Time is up. Pecatonica pulls away at the end. They upset last season's champs. Congratulations. Winnebago, it's tough to see you go. The power of the bow ties did not work this time for you, but it's always a pleasure to have you here. How many of you are seniors?
Just me.
Just you, Charlotte. So you come back and visit us anytime, okay? And the team would always, I'm sure as much as we would, the team would like to see your support next season to cheer them on. All right, what are your plans after graduation? Do you know?
I'm going to go to UW-Platteville to major in forensic investigations and biology.
Fantastic. Well, you keep in touch with us, okay? And Pecatonica, congrats. You're moving on to the Elite Eight. That's pretty exciting. You face the winner of next week's Dakota versus Byron game. And we hope to see you for that.